Okay, so guys, I am testing this out. Welcome to the stream. Today I have an interview, or I have a guest today. Freeman's Journal, brother of the space, been around for quite a bit of time, and started making his own videos. Noticed one of his streams the other day, and then I was like, hey, let me look at some of his videos. Noticed that he had a video from 2 months ago talking about AWS certifications and how he became AWS certified. Full transparency, totally forgot that he was in tech. So there's that part. Um, but I do have him in the background in the green room, and I'll switch over to that right now. I'm still working with this whole setup, so forgive me if there's any problems or issues. But yeah, thank you guys as always for joining, and we'll get to it. All right, hold on. I gotta press buttons over here. All right, cool. Oh,
There it
okay.
is.
I'm a
We're
pro.
alive.
All right. Usually I do a sound check, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think we're good though, to be honest.
Yeah,
Dude.
you're good to go on here. I can hear
Yeah, you
you
hear it on your
crystal
side?
clear.
Perfect. Okay. Alrighty. Let me bring up the chat window on my side. That's the other thing is trying to get I guess we're over here today. Osu, Osu, is that Zero X Hermes? Is that what's his name? Nameless protagonist? Protagonist? Uh, okay, I'm going to WGU. Oh, I'm gonna watch you guys from the cloud for cloud computing. Oh, WGU for cloud computing. I don't know where WGU is. What's up, Grizzly? Samuel Isaacs, what's up? Rod Original, what's up? OX Hermes, what's up? Mr. Heat More appreciate you showing up. Freeman's Journal, I know that guy. All right, what's up? So, yeah. Is there a way to get into AWS with no experience, just certs? Um, we'll answer questions in a little bit here, but I do want to do a quick background. Freeman Journals has been on my channel before, but we talked more about real estate and people avoiding ownership or avoiding the privilege of ownership. A lot of people want to rent and things like that. So that's the conversation we had before because Freeman's Journal, as I know him, he's been into real estate as well. And in my mind, he's like a Christian Hutchinson of the space, where Christian talks about how he has quite a few doors and has a real estate portfolio. So that's something that's what I always think about him as. All Star G, what's up, brother? But yeah, Freeman's Journal, can you give us a little bit about you and kind of why you got into this? And what's your thought process of how this is going to help you along in your career?
Um, well, I saw everything going to AWS.
Mhm.
I've been a Cisco guy for a while, since 2012.
Hmm.
Um, and I just saw the handwriting on the wall. Cisco was trying to go to cloud a few years ago. They're trying to switch a lot of that, and AWS kind of beat them to the punch.
Mm.
Connect launched, and I had the opportunity to get into that, so I did. Um, and it's
When you say
everywhere.
Connect,
So,
what are you talking about with Connect? What is that? What product is that? Explain that a
oh,
little bit.
that is AWS Connect. Connect is one of their products that is a call center product. So AWS has just it's lots of parts. It's almost like one of those old school East Coast diners, right? They've got a menu that has 112 items on it, and
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
basically the cloud. You've got 112 apps that you can put together however you want to get done what you want to get done. So Connect is one of those pieces in AWS for call centers.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. So that means that you're, when you say Cisco, you're more on the QCOM side, which is the Cisco Unified Call Manager side of things. Is that
Correct,
correct?
correct. Yeah. Cisco Unified Contact Center Enterprise. Then there's Unified Contact Center Express, UCCX, Package Contact Center. So there's tons of little products, but basically I've been on the voice side heavy since 2012.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, and then how long have they had this Connect product? I've seen videos, I think Definitely a year, but 3 years back, even. I don't
Yeah,
know how long they've had
about
it.
3 years back, um, when it started being viable. So, I've been working in it about that time, kind of
Mhm.
converting call centers over and just putting them on Connect.
Okay. And then,
Yeah.
so with the Cisco Unified Call Manager, when you compare the two, what are your thoughts? Like, wow, AWS is blowing them out of the water. It's like Teams versus Slack. There is no competition. Or, how do you feel about it?
Um, well, AWS Connect has less. It's straight call center, right? It's not a telephony system. So
Mhm.
collaboration through Cisco is a phone system, and you can have a call center, or you can have a phone system with no call center, or you can have a call center that just has Jabber devices, which aren't their virtual phones.
Mhm.
So there's lots of kind of different ways to do it, but Connect specifically is the call center side. It's not really a PBX. It's not meant to be kind of replace your office phone.
Okay, so expound on that a little bit because you mentioned Jabber, and I remember Jabber's a protocol, right? Or is it, and also a software front end, a
It's a
client, I
software
should say.
front end. It's phone, it's chat,
Mhm.
and they've got plugins that you can get to integrate like Salesforce and other things like that. As long as you have a something CTI JTAPI to plug into it. Um, so yeah, so the Cisco side is actually just a phone. Like I can through Cisco, you can have a hard phone like on your desk at
Mhm.
home that connects
Mhm.
into your through VPN connects into your business, right, or your employer, and that is
Right.
just your extension, right?
Mhm.
Connect doesn't really do that. They don't really have a phone product like that per se. And that's kind of the main difference, right? But also there is everything in AWS is serverless. The cloud is just someone else's computer. So you don't have to manage the
Mhm.
infrastructure, right? In Cisco, you got to do patches, you got to do upgrades, you
Mhm.
have compatibility requirements. A lot of that you
Mhm.
just get rid of with Connect. So Connect is very much on the development heavy side because you're doing that all the time. Um, because you don't
Mhm.
really have a lot of you don't have the server maintenance period, and then yeah, you just don't have the server maintenance. Yeah,
Okay.
and then there are
So, all right, you're dealing with somebody that is like, that did this back in the day. I dealt with Asterisk PBX, Linux boxes and stuff like that, Trixbox. As soon as I saw this, as I said, I sent this stuff to Ed, who talks about his call center experience and knowledge. I sent this to another homeboy who still sets up PBXs, Grand Stream phone systems, blah blah blah, all the time now. And he's been wanting to kind of get out of on-site stuff, and he's getting a little bit older. He's like, man, he's like 50. Cecil does not look it, but and I'm gonna send him the stream. Cecil does not look it, dude. But that dude, if you look at him, it's just like, bro, when did 50 happen to you? You're lying, lies. But just freaking his daughter, one of his oldest daughters, going to college. Man, you see her with pictures and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, you're grown. This is crazy, and taller than her daddy, pretty much. But anyways, sorry for the tangent, but I've been in that part of the game for a while now, right? That's like saying you're going to virtualize my what? like, you
yeah, yeah,
know. So now you're saying, okay, hey, listen, there is no phone. Like, I'm like, okay, so how do they get a call? Like, I mean, back the last thing that happened when I was doing this type of stuff was Ring Central, and then you see how that
hmm
product grew and got out there, and that was, man, that's probably like, it's been about five maybe 6 years kind of out of that game in a sense, and really focusing on more of coding and stuff like that. Shout out to Lion of MGTOW. How long did it take you to get your certificate? We're gonna get to that question because Rod asked the same question, so we'll get into that. And sorry for you guys. I just want to get the usual stuff out of the way, and then we're gonna get into the meat of it. Um, So I asked a lot of questions there, but where's the phone? Like, how do they connect to it? What does that look like?
It's a control panel, so it's basically a web page, right? Excuse me. That's got a telephony interface. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's basically it. I mean, you're gonna have you can configure so you have particular drop downs or widgets, or
Mm-hmm.
you can monitor the queues, things of that nature. You can see what queue you're in, or the queues
Mm-hmm.
you have available to you, how many calls are waiting, things of that nature. And then you're going to have a little control panel that is functions as your phone in that window, right? So that's where you pick up the call. Right, and after you've picked up the call, you'll have a dial pad, um, and then
What
yeah.
is that? Is that so? Okay, so this is we're on a computer and we're looking at what, like a web page, and that is your like I have like a little small box, a little web page or something like that going on where it has a dial pad and then it just hooks up to the
hmm
mic, or is there an actual client? Like, and I guess that's the Jabber piece.
Yeah, it'll no. There's no client. There's no Jabber piece, right? There is only the web page.
Get
Let me
the
see.
fuck.
Yeah, it's just the web page. There's no. That's what I'm saying. There's no telephony. I mean, there is traffic going back, but it's going back and forth between the web page. So if you need to if you need to troubleshoot, right, you're going to hit F12 on the browser, and that's where you're going to
Uh-huh.
look, right? That's where you're going to look for your WebSocket connections and stuff like that, and your
Uh-huh.
voice traffic. So you're not going to have a an endpoint where you go, hey, let
Excuse
me
me.
troubleshoot SIP. No,
So it's all a web. Oh hell no! Yo, you said so. It's just all a web page. Like they're gonna sign into a web page. I mean, what about phone clients? Are there any phone clients where you do some type of get the
you don't.
fuck?
Yeah, you don't. There are some. What is it? Some plugins necessary for what
Hmm.
is that? For like Citrix, right? For
Hmm.
VMs, right? There's some plugins and things necessary and some special rights, but now there's no JTAPI, right? All the JTAPI's in the browser, right? All of those components that you would normally have are in the browser.
Hmm. Wow,
So yeah,
that's
that's what
okay.
makes it so much more flexible, you know?
So I mean, pretty much you log into a laptop and virtual office. You're logging into a web page. That's it.
Yep.
There's no there's no third party clients where you have to put in the server name and open up ports and all that other fuck shit. It's like going to Gmail. Like, okay, oh
Yeah. Yeah, you're not
wow.
you get on you're probably going to get on your VPN. That's about it. Um, you
Oh,
know,
okay. So you
you
can lock it, whitelisted, all that other stuff if you wanted
Oh
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. See
Okay.
that's all on the back end, right? That's all configured in AWS, right? So you take
Hmm.
all of that away from the machine. So you send them a laptop. That's it. Here's a laptop. Here's a headset. You're now an agent, right? And we don't have to install Jabber. I don't have to build a device. None of that, right? You
Wow.
build the any type of customizations, like if you want to have him Salesforce, right? Have a Salesforce plugin for their
Hmm.
desktop, sure. Or there's tons, something like that. But if you just want straight AWS Connect CCP and you can customize that how you want, done so.
Wow. Okay. So, salute to Volcanus, Mr. Heat Ibmore. This is true. And eventually, guys, I'll get the chats and stuff on the screen. I'm still playing around with this thing. It's a little bit different. This is not StreamYard. This is Ecamm Live. And I just learned you only have like 250 hours a year to actually do interviews, which is, I mean, I don't think I'll do that, but I thought that was kind of BS. It's not free. I already paid for it, so that's the part that I think is BS. So, Mr. Heat Ibmore says we're slowly moving away from physical phones, virtual phone to virtual phones, Microsoft Teams to be exact. I'm not a fan. I am a fan personally in terms of what it allows you to do. I think that's pretty cool, but I don't like, you know, not the impersonal portion of it, but there's some things about it I don't like, and I can agree with you on that. Um, wait, no. Hmm. there isn't much that I don't like. What I don't like is people knowing if you're there or not and stuff like that. I think that is kind of like annoying, but it's definitely useful. And then some people are like, "Well, I see that you're available, so I'm going to hit you up at 8:30 in the morning." So it's like, "Yo, bro, chill, chill." That's like me being in the office. That's me being in the office with my door closed and it has a do not knock sign. Like, come on, bro. It's fucking not even 9 o'clock yet. Calm the fuck down. Um, WebEx, on the other hand, has way more functionality and features and less issues. Really? Okay. People still use
WebEx?
WebEx. Really? What do you thought? No, not so much on WebEx because that's a
No,
Citrix product, right? Or is that Cisco?
no, it's Cisco. No, AWS has way less issues. Way less issues. I mean, you don't have the server, so you don't have to patch the server.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about as many bugs. You know,
You got a WebEx
a,
server, like a
no, no, no,
server
no.
product?
On the back end for Cisco, right? You're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
have most likely you're gonna have gateways, right? That are for
Hmm.
what are they called? It's a specific name for the gateway for that. But anyway, it's a gateway that you'll have to configure, especially if you want to have Jabber out in the world and be able to connect to your expressway. There we go. Connect
Okay.
Jabber to your company out in the world or on your phone. You're gonna have to have a special gateway for that. That requires maintenance. Um, that requires patching.
Hmm.
Just the number of I can just say from experience, man, the number of bugs that I've encountered with Cisco is just compared to Connect. I've had like one with Connect. There was one issue about 2 months ago. It
Hmm.
was, I'm trying to remember. It was the chats didn't ring. That's what happened. When the
The
chat
chat's
came
down.
in, the phone would not ring.
Hmm.
Oh, and that's another thing you can have in the panel too. Is you have a
Hmm.
phone tab and then you have a chat tab, right? So your chat tab rings like a phone, and so it
But is
was
the
an
chat
issue
tab
with the
like?
chat ringing.
Is the chat tab something like SMS, like, or is that you can do like text messages with it or something, or they're trying to replace Teams like a
Uh,
chat?
no, no, no. It's just a customer chat. It's real generic, right? It just pops up
Oh,
and you
okay.
get information. Like when you're on, I don't know, when you're on whatever JetBlue's website and you start chatting on it,
Yeah.
there's you go through the bots, and once you go through the bots, you get a real person that says, "Hey, this is Marvin," right? So it's just a real
Hmm.
generic chat, but it rings like a phone, and so it wasn't ringing,
Hmm.
and so
Oh,
they
okay.
had to put out a patch to it, and it started working. But there have been like one or two in the Cisco world. I'm dealing with 3 or 4 a year, probably,
Okay.
right? And that's going to be, hey, you know what? The other thing, oh, man. Okay, so
Hmm. Get into it.
when
Let's do it.
yeah, when they had the lockdowns and everybody went home,
Hmm.
um, a company wanted to get everybody on the IP phones. But the IP phones to a call center are not supported for a very specific reason because if you lose the connection, right, voice is not latency friendly. It is very sensitive to
Yeah.
delay at all.
Very. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
if that phone loses its status, then they get
Hmm.
lost in the call center, right? If there was a call going to that agent and that phone loses status, that call has to get, it's like what they call it, the dialer, right? So
Hmm.
it's the thing that calls you, right? When you get a call and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is blah blah blah. That's a dialer. So, but that has to
Hmm.
connect to a real agent, right? So when the phone loses its sync, right? That call that is
Hmm.
supposed to come to that agent has to like flush out of the system, and that could take 20 minutes. And so that agent is sitting there doing nothing until that call is dead. And once that call is dead, then that agent gets released and can take another call, right? So that's not best practice.
Oh, so
That was all.
yeah.
hmm
Okay,
So
I could kind of see how that's a problem because then you would need a
oh,
persistent
big time.
connection. Nothing's perfect. Shit happens. Like even last night, my stream went down for a second, and stuff like that happens. But then you're just sitting there hung. Like you're just like, whoa, what the hell
hmm
happened? Okay,
Yeah. So now multiply that by 2,500 agents and
yeah.
taking 20 minutes to fall out of there. So they're just like, oh, how do you fix this? And I'm like, I cannot fix this. This is a limitation of the
It's a product
software,
issue. Yeah.
right? So really, it's better if they were also taking regular calls too, right? So
Hmm.
actually, that's the thing. They could get stuck in the dialer and then take an inbound
Hmm.
call, which comes through a different way. But that hangs them up even more. Okay,
Wow.
so
So okay, so that same phone that lost connectivity can get back on and then get another call, but still lock up the other call, like the call
right,
that's
it's
been lost.
it's almost like each dialer campaign is almost like a competing computer, right? It's targeting that agent, but so is
Hmm.
every other campaign because you can have an agent on like 5 campaigns, and each campaign is like,
Right.
give me that agent, give me that agent, give me that agent.
Right.
But if
And
that one
campaigns would be
campaign,
equivalent to queues at this point or in this.
kind of, yeah, because
Okay. But go
each
ahead.
campaign has its own queue. So, but the thing is, once a campaign gets hold of it, the dialer as a whole says, "Oh, that guy's busy." Right? But inbound calls through ICM don't see any of that programmatically. They just see
Hmm.
an agent that ain't on a call. So they'll send a call. So I found out that these agents are fielding inbound calls while the dialer thinks they're still hung, waiting for that old call to flush. So they could take a call that they've been on 20 minutes, right?
Right.
But they came out of the dialer 15 minutes ago. So
Right.
now they've been out of the dialer for 35 minutes. And what do you think that does to productivity?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
loses productivity. Then, the agent is sitting there, especially if it's an agent that their compensation is based off of how many calls that they take, how many deals that they close. They want a constant stream, some of them, so on and so forth. And then, of
Yep.
course, user experience too, like dealing with the call center, dealing with support and all this other stuff. People get real sensitive. I called 20 times. Well, bitch, I only got it once. Like, calm down. I do
Yep.
want to get to some questions here because we do have quite a few coming in.
So wait,
So,
let me finish real quick.
oh, oh, go ahead.
The the advantage of AWS Connect is none of that
Mhm.
happens. Absolutely none of
Oh,
that
okay.
happens.
So none of that happens. Why? Because yeah, you're not on a server that's connected. You're always connected to it. So as long as your web page is working and you're able to communicate with the server, is why. I mean, what?
Right.
Why
You're
does none of
just
that?
you're just an endpoint, right? So whether you're available
Mhm.
or not is controlled from the control panel. So when you close that contact, you are now available. Like it clears everything,
Mhm.
right? So it's not two competing systems, and it's not within the dialer 5 different campaigns saying, "Give me that agent." Right? When you're
Right.
closed, you're closed. It doesn't have that hang up with the call, right? Because you're always there, right? It's less latency sensitive.
Okay. So when you say even latency sensitive, I take that as like when it comes to like call quality and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
you might have a little garble, right? But even if
yeah.
you, uh, in the meantime, how does it keep track? It just knows you're there, right? It doesn't have that constant status, right? That constant status going back and forth where it'll hang you up and then you're out of the game for a while. So that doesn't happen with Connect. So that's a huge advantage, right? So now I don't have someone breathing down my neck and I got to spend half a week on the same issue. So I was
Right.
doing that, man.
Yeah.
I was spending, I was doing that like every 6 weeks, man. Every 6 weeks, about
Right.
half a week. They'd say the same thing, be like, I told y'all this 6 weeks ago, but I
Right.
still got to do
But
it.
and go through the process. But then
Yep.
that makes me so that means guys, I do want to get to your questions and everything like that. I am favoriting them and everything like that, and hopefully we will get to we got probably until what 4 o'clock that you can do this. I don't know if you want to stay on that long, but um, we'll see in terms of your time. But I do want to get to guys. Also, there's a video in my community tab. You can go to his channel. Oh shoot, sorry. Oh, there we go. There you
Oh,
go.
that's nice.
There's a video. Yeah, it's the OBS bot cam, and you can actually, yeah, yeah. The OBS bot cam does that. Like it has like gestures. So if I go like this, I should zoom in. Like this, zooms out, and then zooms in. And then if I
Nice.
go like this, real slow, it'll come out. So I'm still getting used to it. But like me putting my hands up and doing different gestures. One of my gestures is putting my hands up and almost like a L. Um, So we'll get to that, guys. I do have you guys favorited, and hopefully we can get to a demo. I'm not trying to rush it because I want you guys to understand who's talking, one, and it's like, okay, what's your experience? Like, or, who is this person? How long have they been in the game? What have they been doing? So I do want to get to that question. So what is kind of like, I guess you don't have to give us too much information, but what is your kind of title and how long you've been working with telephony? And is that the only thing you do, or are you like a sysadmin and, stuff like that?
Um, so I started in '05. Um,
Hmm.
I got a, I just started basically. My homeboy Marine recommended me for a job. Said, "Hey, this guy knows computers," so they hired me,
Right.
which I did, and
Yeah, I
I
was about
just
to say
replaced
it's
some
like
motherboards.
all he knew was how to open up Word. Very proficient.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I just replaced motherboards, and it's been
Yeah.
all kind of OJT from there.
Yep.
Learned about, standard kind of A plus stuff, the bus, right, the
Hmm.
NIC, right, the motherboard, things of that nature. Got into desktop support.
Hmm.
Went to community college, got my CCNA,
Okay.
um, and then started doing some special projects where I worked. Um, did like what did I do? Um, we had to re-IP some clinics
Hmm.
because I don't know why it was still manual for whatever reason. So we had to go
Yeah.
in, re-IP clinics, re-IP the label printers, which is a pain. Label
Hmm.
printers still dark age technology, so um,
Yeah, because they're really
had
dumb.
to do
I
that.
mean, as
Yeah.
it's quote unquote advanced as they are, they're still really dumb. Yeah. That's
So
like that's like printers. Printers are like the bane of my existence when it comes to support. I don't know what's wrong with this printer, bitch. I don't know either. Buy a new one. And bro, even with my mom, oh my god, I lose it when my mom has printers. I was like, mommy, like, why are you still printing? Well, some documents you still got to do this, and sometimes I want to go to the park and read. Like, mommy, you can just put it on a PDF on your phone. Me don't want no PDF. Me don't want a bubble clock PDF. Me want to use me a paper, highlight one or two things, and I'm like, all right, man, whatever, dude. But yeah, that's what I got to freaking deal with. But yeah, yeah. All right, and then from there,
so
with printers,
got my
IP.
first voice job in 2012,
Oh, okay.
and just kind of took off from there. When you're learning, always say yes, basically. It
Yeah,
was, hey, do you want to do this weekend? Yes. Hey, do you want to go to, yes.
yes,
Hey, this is going to be, this is going to suck. It's going to be a lot of work. Do you want, yes. hmm
yeah.
So the more responsibility you take, the more responsibility they're going to give you, which means you're going to learn more.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I was basically able to soak up a guy's entire career in about 2.5 years, which
Damn.
kind of laid the foundation for where I am today, to be honest.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it was good. So don't say no. So did
Yeah.
that. Went to a couple places. Ended up um, getting kind of like a senior position, and I've been, just moving from there. And then I saw the cloud, where it was going, where it was headed, and I was like, well, I don't want to get kicked off the train because when I was coming up, a product called Avaya was like the dinosaur product, and so you saw
Yeah.
guys who are like my age now who are just like fingers crossed. I hope they keep Avaya so I can still keep getting paid. But I did not want to be in that boat. And matter of fact, listen, you can see 6-figure jobs on LinkedIn for Avaya, but they are few and far in between.
That
It's a
makes
bunch of
sense.
dudes, with the long knives out trying to kill us.
And like the Avaya products, man, if you know a lot about it, like that's kind of like companies still having mainframes. Like if you're a mainframe guy, you're a quarter mil. Like damn, or you're like 150 at the lowest, man. I mean, if you're a mainframe guy,
Mhm.
even if you're like a I don't even think you could really be a junior mainframe guy, really, unless you're talking about like some of the bigger stuff, because everything is just going serverless. Everything is going microservices, non-monolithic, right? Even just software is going non-monolithic microservices. So
Mhm.
that's what you're seeing a lot of. Even in the job market, I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and I was just like, man, what we're seeing, I'm seeing a lot of I do JavaScript, and it is no real relation to Java, except for close namesake. but I'm seeing a lot of back end Java developers, and that's most likely because everybody does microservices and does
Mhm.
Python and Node.js development. So really, you have Java jobs out there. So I picked up a book for Java. I mean, I haven't read the fucking thing, but I picked it up though. So there's that, that's happening. But then, and I do want to get a little bit into this because if you're okay with it, but what else has that afforded you to do in terms of your other business ventures, if you don't mind talking about it, in terms of, hey, I've always said yes, now I can do this.
Um, well, I've hung out my own shingle, um, been able to generate my own customers, clients, etc., and doing what I do W-2 1099. So it's been a huge income boost, and AWS only magnifies that. AWS is that on steroids, and it's kind of it's taken me too long, right? I mean, these are exigent circumstances. If you are not
Mhm.
getting into it now, you might get closed out in a couple years. Like people
Yeah.
who are going to school now and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to get a degree for this." I would not touch college for IT. I wouldn't touch it.
Hey, and that's
That's wrong.
actually, yeah, I'm an autodidact, and that's what you really have to be. And I only say autodidact because you said the word exigent circumstances, and I wanted to match you on big words. So, anyways, moving on. But it's just like that's what you have to be. You have to be an autodidact where you're self-taught, you're reading the books and stuff like that. But I even told somebody right now, most of the money I make is off of knowledge that I gained, like a large bulk of the knowledge that I gained 5, 6, 7 years ago, man.
Oh
Like five to
yeah.
seven years ago. It's not really a lot of the stuff I do now is not new in terms of knowledge. Like I can deal with firewalls. Bro, firewalls are so like easy
Basic.
in a sense. Yeah, they're so basic, right? Whereas, like, when I was learning it and knowing all this other stuff, it's new. I open up a port. And even then, it was old. It was just like, it's just different. But yeah, I mean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, right? Because the me and my boy kind of crack up about how when you're senior in a position, you work less, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
new guys are grinding. Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me. The new guys are grinding, right? The experts are just like boop, 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 solving that,
Yeah.
right? You do your scrum. Okay, I got three projects for the next 2 weeks. Okay,
Right.
and you're good. You know,
And it's
um, that body of knowledge. That's why I said never say no. You're just getting started. Never say no.
Yeah, and that's a good point because you're gaining that knowledge. As like definitely is what respect to the panel of chat. Ryan was appreciate you, brother. I'm working on this stuff as we go, man. Like definitely building it as we fly. So I'm like working with stuff, trying to listen to you got watch the chat, and then also of course listen to the knowledge that's being dropped in terms of experience. But great live stream, JM. Hey, I appreciate you for that, man. Freeman's Journal is definitely a wealth of knowledge, I believe, and I'm glad he's actually making more videos. Definitely go ahead, please go to his channel, give him a subscribe. Yeah, definitely like his videos. He had a video from about 2 months ago where we're hopefully going to get into this AWS Connect stuff and go from there. So with that being said, so you've been in telephony for quite a bit of time now, and we talked about, hey, listen, knowledge that you've had for a while. Are there any other things that you're seeing in terms of changing of the tide in IT? Because I've been seeing a dry job market right now, along with using things like uh, GitHub Copilot and other AI driven code helpers and autocompletes.
Excuse me. What I'm seeing from the cloud side is growth because everybody's going
Mm-hmm.
there. So when companies want to, hey, what's up, Theo? When companies want
Mm-hmm.
to save money, right? They're going to go to the cloud. There are
Yeah.
companies, there are big, I mean, big call centers running on 50K a month, which some Cisco licensing is $1 million a year, right?
Son of a
You know,
bitch.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
running a 20,000 person call center on 50K a month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. So if you're in the cloud, if your niche is moving people from old technology, new technology, work is coming.
Hmm.
I would
Yeah.
highly recommend, not just, my specialty is right connect, right, call centers, but I'm
Hmm.
working on a Terraform cert now, because even in a
Mm.
corporation, you could get, hopefully, right, this is hopefully, you're not siloed, and the business says, hey, you phone guys need to handle your infrastructure too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because now I'm going to learn
So what
Terraform.
is Terraform? Tell me more about that. I know what Terraform is, but act like I don't.
Okay, so Terraform is,
Guys, dial in. This is yeah.
Terraform
Go
is
ahead.
infrastructure as code. Okay, so basically, you're using code to create and manipulate resources within the cloud.
Hmm.
So if
Yep.
I want to build, I can build a call center instance in some code. Actually, you know what? Let me just show. I'll just give a little preview
I
file.
mean, honestly, if I could, while he's setting that up, I'll see what I can do in terms of sharing screens and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what you see on your side about that, but I definitely, if you can share a screen, that would be awesome. Um, but anyway, so in terms of infrastructure as code, like I work on SAM templates, cloud formation, AWS cloud formation SAM templates that are like 3,500, 5,000, 6,000 lines long. And there's so much in that. It's its own language. It's its own, oh, wow, this is really cool. Okay. So, I'm going to solo your screen there. I'm going to add you to the right. Oh no, wait. Okay, no, I can't. Oh,
Oh,
okay,
cool.
cool. Look at that. All right, cool. All right, so you got main stage. Cool. But
All right,
so
so
you got SAM templates and all types of stuff that, man, you just don't you don't those things are huge, and you could there's a lot you can do with them. Essentially the whole thing, catalog and save this stream. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that line of MGTOW. But there's a lot you can do with those things where you can do entire deployments. And we had a problem, and so we had a problem, and I'll let you get to it after this. But we had a problem where we had to erase an entire environment, so to speak, because of an app config issue. And this
mm,
just happened week before last, and it was just one of those weird things that just didn't work. It was a problem, blah blah blah, and we were almost afraid to do that because it's like, well, there's going to be some stuff that was missed or an issue, and there was. But what that meant is we were not following proper infrastructure as code type best practices where everything should be coded. Nothing should be manual.
mhm,
And we had quite a few manual things in there that we had to clean up after the fact and just to fix an
mhm.
issue. So, and this is during a transitionary period as well. So it was crazy. But go ahead.
Okay. So this is VS Code, right? Which is this thing,
Hmm.
right? The window is VS Code,
Hmm.
right? What is in it is connected to Terraform, right? Terraform are these files .tfs, right? And so what you can't see is this is connected to my AWS instance. But what it does is, if you can see here where it says resource, I don't
Hmm.
have good right here, right? Your resource in AWS Connect instance, right? And then I name it for this demo. And then you got to have some required, what is it? Required variables here uh, that are defined, right? You got to have these defined to actually build the instance.
Now,
I
let
have,
me interject here. One thing I talked about was AWS SAM templates, and that's mostly for using their product called CloudFormation.
mhm,
Terraform is made by a third party or another organization called HashiCorp. HashiCorp, with Terraform, it's platform agnostic, I believe. So pretty much you can actually use it on AWS, Azure, and GCP as well. So essentially, if you know just this language or syntax, with in terms of defining resources, building resources out, and things like that, and connect it to your current instance, you can go from one instance to the next. Make maybe some specific platform platform specific files for small things, but have them as almost like variables. Plug them in wherever you need to, and you can deploy your same infrastructure across maybe three different cloud platforms or more.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that's the power of Terraform versus say something like I am an AWS person. I use CloudFormation. Terraform allows you to actually be platform cloud vendor agnostic. So definitely, as Theo Waff said, Terraform for the win, most definitely, and you can do a lot with it.
Yep. So
So
basically,
go through what you're doing
well, you
in.
just
Mhm.
explained it. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're using code. This code here turns into things on AWS, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and that's kind of how you manage the environment, right? You could go through and build it in the console, right? You log into AWS and build it, but that is not really scalable. I mean, you could do it for your lab or for something like that, but you cannot scale that up, and you cannot run a business. Even if you're doing a small business, like if I had, um, I could not manage all my customers, right, on in a console. That would be super difficult, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to. Um, so I would use something like this, and I would have, I would have, how is that? You can use different accounts, right, for your different
Hmm.
customers. Actually, that's something different. Anyway, so this is how you do it, basically. So if you can, it's kind of small. If you can see over here on the right hand side how long the code is,
Yeah. And you
right?
can
And what
see
this
when you're
is
defining
a
all these
lesson.
different resources. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what you can see with when you're defining all these different resources is that, or what he's showing you is it can get pretty long pretty quickly. And if you look at what he did, if you look in his terminal portion of the screen towards the bottom, I'm not sure if I can zoom in on that. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can. I can't. So, but you'll see he's raised it up a little bit where it says plan. So that you have a plan, and then that plan says, okay, I added 6 devices. I think changed one and destroyed zero. So you can destroy your
Mm-hmm.
whole environment. You can add things, you can delete things, change things, modify things, and you'll see kind of the same thing in cloud formation as well. Go ahead.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. You can, if you can see the little green plus, which means create,
Hmm.
and then the yellow tilde means update in place. So you're not going to
Hmm.
destroy it. Um, like I update in place is this lambda function. So if you can see over here on the
Yeah.
left side, I've got a lambda function, which is just a random number generator. That's it. Um,
Hmm.
and this is what I use for a demo. Like the call flow will go out to we'll call this lambda, and it'll just return a number, and then it'll say the number. That's basically it.
Hmm.
Um, so
And
there's
what's
that.
nice is you're using Terraform and you're integrating things like serverless applications and things like that
Absolutely.
as well. And actually, to Mr. Heat Ibmore's point to Theo F, I can't argue with that. But in the coming years, we will see the dark side of the cloud. We're already seeing it, where you're seeing a lot of people move away from. They moved from data centers to the cloud. Now they're moving back down into the cloud, or no, they're not. Sorry, they're moving back down into data centers and co-location services, or they're doing a hybrid approach. The dark
Hmm.
side of the cloud is Amazon. What's it called? GoDaddy DNS going down, and you don't know how big it is. Google DNS or Google services going down for some reason, and you didn't realize how big or how much it would affect you. Things like
Yeah.
that. And it's just like, man, this wouldn't have happened if we can control our own resources. Like, imagine if AWS has a region go down or something like that, and they have multiple regions: East One, Two, East V1, East V2, things like that. But at the
Hmm.
same time, you could see where that could cause a problem for you if you're not careful in terms of your planning.
Yep. So that is yeah, so that's infrastructure as code, right? So I guess how we got here is what do I see coming? This is not really what's coming. This is what's here, and this is what is replacing a lot. So hopefully, if you are in a niche of some sort, you will be unsiloed and be able to get your hands on Terraform. You will be able to get your hands on security, right? Um, you will be able to get your hands on the API gateways and all that. If you have to manage that, what you are going to learn, well, what you're going to learn, even though you might be in, who knows, you might be desktop support, but if you get these certs where you work, they will put you to work,
Hmm.
right? They will put you
Oh
to work,
yeah,
and you will learn that, and you can build a nice resume. That's exactly what I did.
bro.
I got my CCNA, started leading special
Hmm.
projects, and then my resume was hot when I went to go for a job. I was getting called 2 3 times a week. So
Damn.
this is what's here. You know, this is what's here.
Wow.
So I highly recommend. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And then the other part is, what is it? It's not the infrastructure as code. It is, site reliability engineer. That's where
Oh
the big
yeah,
money is. Oh my
SREs.
goodness.
Oh my, I don't know, bro. That's like, but it's like, okay, that's a more of a, and I want to get to the questions, guys, but the conversation is really good. So I want to take this time so you guys can soak up some of the stuff. If you need to leave your question, I definitely will get to it because we also want to get into some of the AWS Connect if Freeman is able to. But a lot of this stuff is like when you're talking to people that do this stuff on a regular basis, instead of listening to me do my rambles, mindset videos, and all types of other shit that I talk about, what the hell? Sorry. Really getting into tech and stuff like that. It's good to talk to another person that's dealt with this. And like I don't talk about SREs, but I know about them. And that for SREs, those are more like DevSecOps guys, but they're more DevSecOps guys for entire facilities that I know. In terms of the jobs that I've seen. So these are people that actually I'll let you get into it, Freeman. You brought it up. Sorry, because I have an
Well,
idea, but I also don't want to be incorrect.
well, to your point earlier about what they learned about the cloud is they learned a lot of these microservices are costing a lot of money moving data back and
Mhm.
forth, right? So a new
Yes.
strategy is to just build your own one big old server, right? And that's where that
Mhm.
Kubernetes knowledge really comes into play. So
Mhm.
now you can manage, I mean, you're managing the whole enchilada, right? You're managing
Mhm.
one big server that does everything. And within that server, you've got your Docker here, Docker there, you got your services, your auto scaling. I mean, you're doing
Mhm.
everything. So those jobs are 200K plus. So,
Mhm.
um,
And those are
and the
like,
stepping
you're gonna
stone.
have to have. Mhm.
Okay, I
Go
was going
ahead.
to say the stepping stone is something like Terraform, right? So even though I'm in Connect, right, I can still
Mhm.
get access to Terraform. I can still get access to learning security. I can still get access to those things if I'm not siloed. Which I hope. Well, I'm getting to learn those things, right? And then
Mhm.
learning the development and learning how to run GitLab, CI/CD
Yeah.
pipelines for
Yep.
your Lambda, right, bro? Because that's what you got to know too, right? If you're going from, CCNA to Kubernetes or CCNA to Terraform, you're going to have to learn GitLab and GitHub, right? You're going to have to develop your own repositories. So, but yeah, Terraform is a good stepping stone, definitely. And I'm about to log into my instance, and
So Theo West says, I teach Kubernetes. I did not know that. And yep, I use Terraform for Kubernetes. So I do want to get into what a site. So Theo, if you can't, let me know if you need a wrench or something like that to drop your information. I don't think I've really talked with you much, maybe on my streams in the past, but not that I can remember. But I always hear about you. I always hear your name and everything like that when thinking about listening to BGS and other places. But so definitely don't mind giving you a wrench or something like that, so you can drop your information or maybe even your contact information on Kubernetes. Because that's another thing, right? Like brothers in the space, all the stuff that we talk about with relationships and statistics and marriages and all the other stuff that we're dealing with. We're also grown ass fucking men that are making six figures in some cases or want to make six figures plus for whatever reason. One thing that was actually crazy last night, Salchi came through. Like a fucking wrecking ball. And I made 75K when I first got this house. He said 75K from 2020 into now is 89. It's like 75K is like making 89K in today's dollars. That was 2020, dude. 2020, 2019, 2020. And now you're telling me, like, that's not even that long. And we're talking about a $14,000 increase just from inflation alone. That's fucking crazy. But that's what we want to do. So brothers that, have that separate information, please let me know so we can drop your stuff in the chat, get people to you. So one, you can make more money, make more connections, and then also help brothers that are in the space so we can all grow and do the things that we want to, whatever that may be. All right. So definitely, I definitely want to help out with that. Um, and what I know about site reliability, SREs or site reliability engineers, they're almost like DevSecOps guys for facilities, and or even a site itself. So if there anything goes down, they need to understand the code side of it, the server side of it, the network side of it. So they are a jack of all trades. They're a Swiss Army knife, so on and so forth.
Yep. Yeah, they have to
Okay.
understand the whole environment and how it connects. So you are managing a lot, and that's why you're getting paid a lot. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that I'm
you
excited
kind of
about
want to
that,
know like the
honestly.
whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
because you can go to
So go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say you can go
No,
to
no, no, no.
LinkedIn and you can type individual certs, AWS certs, as
Mhm,
searches, and you will see the jobs that want those certs. You know what I mean? Or you just type in Kubernetes SRE into LinkedIn and see those jobs, and it's like,
mhm.
oh, okay. And it's kind of like, well, how do I
I,
start? They don't have
yeah.
Kubernetes, junior admin, right? You just got to kind of grow where you're at. And so having that Terraform
Mhm.
cert will kind of get you in there, and get you some of the experience you need to get one of those jobs. So,
So before I get to Mr. Heat Ibmore's comment, one of the things that I've seen is a lot of people don't know what to search for. They kind of know what they kind of want. They're like, "What is an entry level job?" I'm gonna tell you, knock and sock. Those are your entry level jobs, and then after that, you become like a system admin, right? Pretty much you're going to be sitting up monitoring stuff all day. And then, of course, you can move up in the company, move up to other things every 2 years, switch your job out and get a higher raise, get more skills, so on and so forth. Never say no, right? And then you kind of become an expert because you're not really becoming an expert. You're just becoming a person that's doing what they actually like in the biz, is another way of putting it. So there's that part. But to Mr. Heat and more, yes, moving data to the cloud is expensive. Retrieving it is almost unaffordable. What I didn't know about Amazon S3 or either S3 service is that they don't charge you for storage; they charge you for retrieval. So if you start doing
right.
some of their Glacier services or Glacier-like services, where that stuff it's stored for years on end and you don't use it a lot, it's a little bit slow to get retrieved or something like that. That costs you quite a bit in terms of transfers. Also, when you're dealing with microservices and lambdas and things like that, you have to actually watch out for these spikes because a lot of these calls to
Hmm.
different things, database, RDS, DynamoDB, this costs you, and you can actually have a cost savings by look. You can have a cost savings and more efficiency, increased speed just by rewriting and refactoring some of your code based off of some of the things that you've
Exactly.
seen and learned. Right,
Yep.
and
That's why
that's
you
some of the stuff
have.
that you've dealt with.
Yep. That's why Kubernetes is so valuable now. That's kind of what they learned. Kind of like the big takeaway was, don't go serverless and put everything all over the place because you're going to have that latency and you're going to have the cost of moving that data back and forth. You take the data that you need and you put it all in your own instance, so it's only moving within your own instance. And guess what? That's free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And uploading data is also free. Um, so it doesn't transferring it is what costs. So if you
Yep.
have because even companies like what is that? What like Westlaw, right? They're going to the cloud. Why? Because their data is not going
Hmm.
anywhere. And if their data
Hmm.
leaves, right, that is their whole platform is you have to pay per search. If you're a lawyer, you pay Westlake per search anyway. So they don't care if
Hmm.
they get charged for that data leaving. They're gonna
Right.
they're gonna recoup that many times over.
Yeah, and you might do things like caching some of that data that a lot of people like frequently ask questions or frequently access data. You can say, "Ooh, fad." There we go. Made a new term. So frequently access data could be something where it's like this is something that people look up 1,000 times a day, and then you're writing algorithms based off of that, and it's like, okay, your algorithm or your caching mechanism says, okay, I'm going to cache this because of whatever, and that caching mechanism could be Cloudflare or some other third-party service or anything that AWS has. Is it CloudFront? I think is their caching service. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, hey, listen, yeah, we definitely will be leaving this stream up. Anybody that has questions, we're going to get into questions real quick here. I think I only got about four of them right now. All right, and two of them are the same thing. So Rod and Line of Migtal asked, how long did it take you for you to get your certification? Now I know you have multiple, so let's focus on AWS. How long? And then also, you've been doing it since 2005. Guys, remember that. A person that's been doing it for a lot longer, they can get these certs in a week. I mean, I know my Network Plus cert, it took me a week to like skim through the book. I skipped a lot of it because I had already taken my CCNA and redid it probably a couple weeks before. And I just did the Network Plus to kind of beef up everything. So it took me a week for me personally. But go ahead.
My cert, I mean, 90 days, I guess, but it was drawn out
Okay.
because I didn't, you know, family, whatnot. And I was like, wait, hold
Mm-hmm.
on, I got to go ahead and pass this. So I was just like, I kind of reviewed it for like 6 weeks and then took the test. But I would say altogether, maybe 90 days to learn it well. If you're already in, let's say, desktop support and you have good
Mm-hmm.
troubleshooting skills, you can do it
Mm-hmm.
self-paced at 90 days, especially if you're single. I mean, because I work
Mm-hmm.
on I work 9 to 5, but then I work 5 to 9. So I take that
Yeah.
4 hours in the evening and get that good productivity, and you can learn a lot. You can learn a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot. So
And then what did that include or entail in terms of your studies? What was that like?
hold on for a sec.
Is Guys, I'll go through some of your comments here. Um, what were the CCNA projects? So with CCNA, man, me personally, if you're going to be doing CCNA, let's just switch to the full screen here. Um, let's go to eBay. Oh, that's a nice picture, actually. I want to get back
Sorry.
to that. And then CCNA. So if I'm doing CCNA, and thanks for rejoining, if I'm doing CCNA or anything like that, I'm getting a lab kit like this. It's a little bit old school. A lot of this stuff is virtualized, so you don't really necessarily need it. But I would tell you to get a kit like this, where if you want to get a CCENT, CCNA, even a CCNP, they have different lab kits for different levels. If you're a CCIE, your lab kit might be a little bit larger and more expensive, but essentially they're going to give you firewalls and switches. If you're CCNA, it's just mostly switches and maybe a router or something like that. Actually, yeah, I mean all these levels. You probably want to get like a one size fits all kit. Also, this is a good point here, but this right here is V3, so version 3 of, I guess, the CCNA certification exam. So having all of these kits, knowing how to work them, this one's a little bit nicer. I'm not sure if it actually has this rack, but this is kind of old school, man. Like this has still been the bread and butter for a number of years. These switches are super old as well. Licensing is different with Cisco as well. So there's a lot of things that you have to consider, but at the end of the day, it's still going through the OSI layer model from layer 1 to layer 7 and understanding all of those pieces. And that's mainly networking in general. And a lot of
Hmm.
your fun in terms of the Cisco stuff happens around layer 3. No, layer 2 if you're going to do like datagrams or something like that. And that's your MAC addresses. And then layer 3, which is where your routing comes in. And then layer 4, which is what your transport layer. And like,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's layer 4 is your transport layer. But that type of stuff, I have, again, a lot of my knowledge is years old. Like that knowledge that I just came up with, that's kind of like, oh man, that's
Yeah,
like
me.
putting a patch cable together.
No,
What are you saying?
that's. I was gonna say, yeah, that is kind of the strength of the CCNA. The
Hmm.
strength of the CCNA is the troubleshooting, right? Is the deep understanding of the OSI model, because you're
Hmm.
troubleshooting everything, right? You're troubleshooting the layers 1 through 3 just to set up the lab correctly, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you're gonna
Yeah.
have to. Then you need a console cable, right? You got to set that up correctly. You can't just
Hmm.
console cable and LAN cable. So there are these kind of nuanced things that are very helpful on the back end with the CCNA. That's kind of why I recommend it. And if you've already got it, you can definitely go ahead and knock out the um, what is that? The architect, the entry level architect, which is hold on.
Yeah, CCENT. Oh no,
No, no,
entry
no. I'm
level
talking about
architect.
for Amazon. So
Oh, okay.
okay, so what I have is the foundational. Really, I should have got that a long time ago. So what I'm
Hmm.
doing now is the Terraform cert. Right, I'll take that. Probably take that test in a couple weeks, and then what I'll do is I'll get an associate's as a developer. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know. Maybe get multiple associates. I'm not sure. Depends on kind of what the
That's
job
another
market
thing.
wants.
That's another thing when you deal with Cisco a lot is that it used to be where you just get the CCNA. Now you can get CCNA wireless, CCNA security, CCNA this. So you can go to different tracks and then also be an NP and IE in those as well,
Hmm.
um, depending. So, but when you're getting into that, I don't recommend personally. I don't recommend getting like get an NA and then get a job. After that, when that job says, "Hey, I want you to do more," or if you see a job that you like or what you want to move into, like, "Oh, I want to be an engineer." All right, cool. Then get an NP, but don't get an NP so you can get your first job. Get your NA, get that shit out of the way, and then say if the job needs it, cool. Or if you see an opportunity to make more money, cool. Go ahead and do that.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, all right, so we got two more questions. I have a CCNA. Should I jump straight to AWS Advanced Networking or do prior AWS certs?
Oh, you can go straight to networking. What I would do is go to Udemy and check the course material, um,
Hmm.
and see where your knowledge and skills line up. Right. If you've been working in your CCNA, you can probably go ahead and you can try advanced networking. You know, I haven't looked at it, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd go to Udemy, look up advanced networking, see where your skills are at, and then decide if you want to pursue that.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll bring up Udemy. I love Udemy. I think it's kind of like a great place when it comes to um, courses. But let's we could just look at AWS here real quick and the screen full. Here we go. So I mean, you could see all the stuff that's out there. Now, if you're a person that's already logged in or logged in, sometimes you won't get some of these sales, but they have a sale every 2 damn seconds. So if you create like what I'd say to do is like look through what you want, maybe even create multiple accounts, and then just keep on
Mhm.
getting the sales. The only thing
Wait,
that
what is
sucks
the
is
price
that
on
you
those?
have stuff across.
What's the price
Yeah,
on those?
130,
Oh,
140,
wow. No.
110.
The unlimited is $30 a month. I just get the unlimited because if
Oh,
you're
there's
studying
like
hard,
a.
if you're studying
Mhm.
hard for certs, you're gonna have that. You're gonna make that money back. I mean, $30 a month is nothing. Plus,
Wow, I
it,
didn't know
it's
they
gonna
had
help
that.
you. It's gonna help you fill your knowledge gaps, man. You can take a little course on YAML. You can take another course on
Hmm.
GitLab, CI/CD pipelines, and deploying on AWS. Another course on GitHub, which and in those labs you're going to learn how the backend works, which you are definitely going to see that if you go to the cloud. So yeah, 130.
Yeah,
I
I
had
don't
no idea.
see.
Whew, that's pricey.
Yeah, some of the. I mean, usually they're 14, $15, but I didn't know they actually had a tier where you can pay like a monthly subscription. I didn't know about that.
Hmm.
It doesn't
And
really
then
say it. It's weird.
what is the other thing? What is it?
Weird.
Darn it, I forgot what I was going to say. But oh, yeah. If you put an item or a course in your cart and just wait, they'll send you a discount to your email.
Yeah, do that. Like Amazon does the same thing.
Yep.
Especially if it's like Prime Day and all that. But they actually were getting. I think it was maybe Adrian Thomas that sent it. He always sends articles like this, but AWS they have an algorithm supposedly that okay, you have something in your cart and it starts to poke and prod you by lowering the price,
Hmm.
raising the price, things like that to see when people will buy or sell. So then it starts to say, oh, okay, you're a type of person where if the price goes up, you're going to buy. So we're just going to raise everything in your save later portion of your cart and go from there. Or, oh, you're
Mhm.
the type of person you'll wait until a sale happens. So we're just going to artificially make a sale. Hey, they're lowering the price on it today. This is how much it is. Blah blah blah. So that's
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing right there.
That's actually a product within AWS that other e-businesses can use. It's I forget the name of it. Oh, it's on the test too.
Mhm.
It'll come to me, but that's an actual service.
Shit. Price gouging as a service. And that's pretty much what it is, man. It's totally freaking price gouging, dude. But
They fi-
yeah, I have a
they figure it
CCNA.
out.
Should I go ahead?
I
Yeah.
said they figure
And
it
the
out.
thing
They
is, it
figure out
makes
how to
them
get
more
you quick.
money.
Yeah,
And it makes them more money because of the profit margins, right? Because now you've increased your profit margin or you've increased your volume. Either way, money is moving. Like, your product is selling. It's not staying in the warehouse. Hey, listen, we've seen your stuff stay in the warehouse. If you lower it 10% right now and give this person a coupon, you're going to see a sales increase of this much, and that should offset the amount of cost or that should offset the cost of you housing stuff in our warehouse. Blah blah blah. So they're doing all types of analytics, and they're getting people on both sides, right? They're getting you on the consumer side, and then them as an actual producer side. Because it's
yep,
like, all right, cool. Like you want to store your stuff, fine, but we're gonna try and help you sell it and get that shit up off our floors. Otherwise, it's gonna cost you, bitch.
right.
Respectfully. All right, so
Right.
should I jump straight to AWS Advanced Networking or do prior to AWS Certs? I think Theo Waff said no. Oh no, somebody else said not to do this next one, but yeah, you can if you want to, but be wary. Some of that stuff is not about studying. That stuff is about experience and dealing with stuff. A lot of these higher end certs, it is not. You can study all you want, but if you've never dealt with it, you won't remember it. So there's that part in all of this as well. All right, so I got that question out. Passport persona. All right, sound like a passport, bro. Welcome. Um, I'm currently studying for my AWS Dev certification. Is it possible to pass it without taking the CCP first? Now, this is something that Theo Waff was like, he doesn't recommend that. But at the same time, like, hey, listen, yeah, you can do those things, but I would say be careful with that. So in this case, Theo Waff is given this do CCP, SAA, and specialty, and then SAP. Okay. I don't know what all of those are. Keep it techie. Yes. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate you so much. So salute Young Grizzly and Freeman's Journal. Great stream, brother. Hey, thank you so much, bro. I hope everything's going well with you on your side. Keep It Techie is definitely a person that does this on a regular basis and really is a treasure trove of not just knowledge but connections. Somebody like him, getting in line with him in some way, shape, form, or fashion, can actually help you and then help you expand your knowledge. One of the first things that he did when I saw him come onto the scene was going over little things in Linux, and doing things like, hey, this is how you get to a device or something like that. This is how you add a new SATA drive to Linux. This is how you format to Linux. Very simple stuff that is great for the algorithm and gets people in and out. Got it. So, all right. So, cool. Thank you guys for helping out on Passport Persona here because this type of stuff being and I'll let you share your screen here in a little bit. I know we're running low on time, but being able to do a lot of this stuff remotely, you can do it from anywhere in the world. You could be anywhere in the world. Any job I have right now, thankfully, is remote. I can actually be like when we had Hurricane Idalia come through. I was out of power for a day or two, and say for instance the power went out Wednesday at 1 p.m. It didn't come back on until Saturday at 11 and in my area, and that would be a big problem. But I was able to just go to my family reunion in Ocala a day or so early, and I was fine. There was no problems with that. So I was able to take my work with me.
Yep.
Um, UNA. So hello team. Maddox 12. Thank you for joining, brother. I'm already at Udemy. Yeah. Yeah. With Udemy, I didn't know they had that subscription, but it would be definitely good to get into it and go from there. I have no experience. But I want to get into AWS. Could I skip entry level help desk job and get a network engineer networking job and then get into AWS? No, don't do that. You're gonna hop, skip, and fall flat on your fucking face. And a lot of people aren't going to want to hire a new person as a network engineer straight up, you're going to have to be maybe a junior level engineer. But I would tell you to get into knock and sock, and at the very least, you're going to have not an A plus, but at least a network plus, and that doesn't hold weight. So I would say a network plus and a CCNA. I have been a little bit separated from that type of stuff for a while now, in terms of that level. But I wouldn't doubt that it's somewhat the same, and it's even probably even worse now because we have people that have so much knowledge that are out of jobs. If they're uh, getting rid of AWS, why get the certification? And so they're not really getting rid of AWS. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but it's not so much they're getting rid of AWS, but they're probably getting rid of a lower level of that certification. I think you said practitioner or something like that is going away. Is that what you're talking
Right.
about?
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
The entry level. Here's hold on. I put oh, we don't have a back chat here, do we? Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
Guest
Okay,
chat.
send
Oh
it to me
yeah,
because
there we
I
go. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that
All
link
right,
right
cool.
there.
Then
Um, kind of
I
show the
don't see it
people
yet.
because there's a question
Oh,
about
there it is.
what they are.
Thank you. You're
So
helping me discover new things about the software because I don't know anything about this stuff yet. But go ahead.
saying, okay, go ahead, put that up, and then it shows the it kind of shows the track of scroll down some. Keep going.
So yeah, Lion and Micto, they're not really getting rid of AWS, but they might be getting rid
Right.
of some certifications.
Yeah, this foundational one right here is gonna go away. I think it
Okay.
if it hasn't already. Um, I think it went. I think it was gone in September. I think. Um, at least
Okay.
that was like the
Do you
bulletins. So
do you know why they're getting rid of that?
it's pretty basic. Um, as I said,
Hmm.
if you had you could smoke it in 6 weeks if you already had good troubleshooting skills, right? And you know your OSI model, right? And you're kind of
Hmm.
familiar with security and authentication and using Active Directory and Microsoft, right? If you've got that kind of experience, you can definitely smoke Cloud Practitioner in 6 weeks. That's if
Okay.
you know that, right? If you got the time. So it's kind of, and a lot of it is the generalized knowledge, almost like you're trying to sell it, right? An organization that is trying to learn about going to the cloud, right, would want their
Hmm.
employee to kind of learn cloud practitioner so they can get a kind of overview, know how it works, and things like that. So, kind of the more meat and potatoes is at the associate level. So that's probably
So
why it's
yeah,
going away.
and the way this moves is you have foundational here, then it goes to associate, then professional.
Hmm. You have
Okay.
foundational,
I just
associate,
wanted to.
professional, and then specialty. And what Theo Waf put in the chat was going from CCP, which is Certified Cloud Practitioner, to SAA, which is Solutions Architect, and then what was it? Then Specialty SAP on
Specialty.
AWS. And I have, well, I've seen that pays basically. So you want to get paid, do that. Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
mean, and it's
like
right there
even
for you.
Rod, as you said, like go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and it's right there for you. I mean, you didn't have, uh, um, like back when I got my CCNA, you needed a kit. Like you really needed a kit. You
Yeah.
didn't. They had what's that thing called? Ping Tracer,
Packet
which
tracer.
is like
Packet
yeah,
tracer.
Packet Tracer, Dark Ages virtualization.
Yeah, and it was like it wasn't even virtualization because you had GNS3, but it was also buggy as hell. Like it
Oh
had
yeah,
issues. It
terrible,
was now
terrible.
not gonna lie, it was good. It was a good start, but it had issues.
So now you have Udemy. Now you have the free tier on AWS or Google Cloud or Azure, and you're able to just go in and do it. You have YouTube. I mean, if you wanted to
Hmm.
learn how to do some particular thing, go to YouTube, say, hey, Terraform, deploy AWS API gateway. Boom. Right? How to do
Hmm.
deploy Lambda with an API gateway. Boom. Just put it in there. It'll be like a 20-minute video, and that is information that
Hmm.
is right there available to you. That's why I say going to college
And
today for IT. What? No.
that it almost doesn't really make sense. I mean, and that's kind of like trade skills and stuff like that. You can go learn it yourself, get a certification, and then start working pretty much immediately. Another thing is, dealing with, oh, by the way, hi to MGTOW Universe, man. I heard you've been doing great things with the AI stuff. Yo, salute to you on that, man. I've heard really good things about what you're doing over there with AI, AI content and things like that. I've been dabbling in it a little bit too, but not, I mean, personally, but not really on stream or anything. Um, oh, let's see. Professor Theo, the Theo goat. Yes. Um, okay, here we go. Line of MGTOW. So I can just focus on professional, then build from there. No, I think what you should focus on is associate and move through the ranks. So no, you wouldn't do foundational. You would go associate, and then let me just go back to that right now. So you would go associate, and then specialty, no, associate, then professional. But a lot of
Right.
these things require you to have some type of experience when you start to get into professional. They say 2 years of prior cloud AWS cloud experience is because you're going to run into things. You're going to run into,
Mhm.
very uh, bespoke or custom or rare problems that you just won't see in a book, because in a book or a scenario everything's perfect, but not everything of course is perfect in the real world, right? That's obvious, but I'm just saying, like, and that's why that 2 years of experience is like, you come in and it's like you got a nice little battle scar. If you ever if anybody has read Red Rising, science fiction novel, they had the Peerless Scarred, and the Peerless Scarred were people of the gold race in that book that fought other gold race members and killed some of them as well. And they came out as battle hardened people, or battle hardened individuals that could lead others of their ilk into battle. And, if you became that, um, you were respected. And it's like you could see it on them. It's like, oh yeah, I can smell the experience on this person, you know? But it gets like that, really, it does. All right, so sorry, appreciate you answering questions in the chat, man. Uh, I hate BMWs. Yeah, that's my car. I don't know why it was going off. My damn car was going off. I had to turn the alarm off. But thankfully, you have the apps and stuff. Well, you're gonna fail professional. You start there. Yeah, line them out. Just go through the process, so to speak. So they don't have foundational. Focus on associate, and then go through these things here. All right, cool. So let's get to, and I think that's it for questions for right now, guys. Um, if there's that's kind of the question segment. Let's get to, if you're okay with it, man. Uh, what's it called? You going through AWS Connect and explaining that product a little bit more. Again, this stuff was also on his video, so I don't expect him to go in deep on this stuff, but maybe even get a call center going and make a call in there as well. So
Yep.
let me know when you're ready to share your screen on that.
So let me see if I can do this.
Excuse me. And guys, tell me, for Cisco and Juniper networking training, I've used EVNG for labs, or even G for labs. And I think there's and keep it techie, remind me, is or correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that like even G based off of GNS3? Or I know you can use actual iOS images on that as well. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but from what I remember, you can actually do that type of stuff. The biggest thing about it was actually being able to use Cisco iOS images, like from Cisco themselves, and load it on there like it's a real device. And the cool
Oh
thing
yeah.
about that is, yeah, and then like you kind of get real world performance. And another thing is that when you had those, because The Cisco stuff, it requires licenses. The older stuff doesn't, which is why you see all those 2500s, 2950s, 3750s in those labs. They required like they were very license driven, and you could the license didn't like um the license and the hard they decoupled those a while ago to where so
Hmm.
the license doesn't the software doesn't really isn't coupled to the hardware. Kind of like having a car and it comes with the previous buyer's warranty. It's like no, bitch,
Hmm.
no, you're gonna have to buy a new one, even if there's 4 years still left. Even if there's like 3 years and 5 days still left on that warranty out of a 4 year warranty. I'm sorry, not my problem. You're gonna have to buy a new one. So,
Yeah,
um,
that was big. So
mhm.
let me share this. See if I can
I gotta see
build
how it
another
looks.
instance here. So I'm gonna run I'm gonna build this instance here, build a young grizzly instance,
Yes.
and I just ran my plan. Just ran my plan and it
He's
looks
using
good.
Terraform, by the way. So I'm just gonna put this up here a little bit. Move him in place. There we go.
So doing apply.
And guys, sorry if it's kind of small or anything like that. That is something that I have to quote unquote get better with in terms of I don't know if I can zoom in on some of this stuff, but that's on me though.
Okay, so it's asking me, do you actually want to do this? Yes, I do.
Mhm. And also, like, you guys can look up videos in Terraform, what that product is, infrastructure as code, what that entire paradigm or methodology is. So it's definitely something to get into.
Hmm. Actually, you know what? I haven't put this Lexbot in yet, so I hope hopefully it doesn't die.
And put myself in there. Want to
Because
join the party.
that's the thing. Like you can validate, right? You can go
Mhm.
in, you do initialize, you validate. Plan looks good, but then when you execute it, something else within AWS, like it could be permissions or something like that. And that's the good thing is, and another thing with not trying to skip steps is that when you go through the different tiers, the troubleshooting is what's the most valuable, right? Because you could have a huge knowledge gap. Because I've met some, like a guy who
Great
got
point.
a math degree and then they got a
Hmm.
CCNA, went straight into networking, but they do nothing except networking. They were
Right.
completely dependent on other people about layers 1 through 1 and 2, right? They didn't
Yeah.
even know, you know.
And Lina
So
Maytel, that's one of the other things with not to harp on you by any means, but anybody that thinks, hey, listen, you can get this and then just skip into it. One of the big things with experience is the troubleshooting knowledge and also being calm and cool under fire, so to speak. Everybody shouting at you and you're just digging into the problem.
uh, okay, so yeah, so you can see here, right? This died in the Lex spot because I didn't know if the Lex spot was going to work because I hadn't built it yet. So
What is the Lex spot? What does that all mean?
I'll show you. Let me stop share, then I'll share again. Uh, Here.
Oh, this is cool. I'm like watching the stream. It's not too bad in terms. And guys, the quality will get better over time, I think, especially if you watch the playback or anything like that, because it should render everything to 4K. I think I'm doing like 4K, 30 frames per second or something like that.
Okay, so all right, so we'll just do the old school way. So we'll add an instance, store users and connect. Call it young. No administrator. Yes. Data storage. Yes.
Amen.
Create instance. So it's saying, hey, what's up?
Mhm.
So now, with the length of time it's taking, this is kind of how the power of Terraform, right? So if you're making a complex environment, these different things can be running in parallel, right, while you're
Mhm.
working. So while this instance is building, you're building a Lexbot, you're putting a Lambda into the environment, you're doing a bunch of other things in parallel, right? And Terraform also has a dependency map, so it's not doing it out of order, and it's just nice.
Oh man. So, all right. So talking about troubleshooting, and I talked about that issue I had earlier. One of the problems was the dependency chain. So it's what CloudFormation does. It'll try and deploy the same thing twice, or sorry, it'll try to deploy the two of the same types of things, or two of two of the same types of resources with the same type at the same time, and that'll cause all types of issues. So what you have to do is you have to chain them, and you have to say, hey, this depends on this depends on this depends on this, and you just have to do a
Mm-hmm.
dependency chain. And you don't get that, like, for instance, the next time I deal with it, it's a lot faster, but dealing
Mm-hmm.
with it the first time, man, is just like, like, it slaps you in the face and throws you for a loop. And sometimes you're spending hours on this stuff and still not figuring it out. But this is where communication comes in, and you talk to one of your coworkers, and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to add this file or resource, or they know exactly what it is. So it's like, sometimes you have to dig into it, and you're spending your whole entire 8 hour shift along with, not getting to your tickets, man. And there's so long days, long nights.
Right. And that's the good thing about Terraform is that it does it automatically. So it'll calculate like this like module here. So if you have, one module, this resource, right? You can
Hmm.
have a data block that gives you information like right here. So what that says is VPC ID is equal to AWS underscore VPC ID, VPC dot ID. So this is a specific variable from another part of the code, right? And so it will make the dependency map where, hey, I have to make this security group after I get the VPC ID. So it's going to make the
Hmm.
VPC, um, then it's going to make this security group, right? Because if it
Yeah,
tried
and the
to do it
crazy,
the other way, it would error out. And so that's one really good thing about it is it does it for you automatically in Terraform.
yeah, with SAM templates, what I've seen is it may have that a capability, but then I've also seen where it just does not, and it doesn't work as expected, for one reason or another. Um, you know, uh, Professor Black Ops, cybersecurity for the people. And I believe I know Professor Black Ops. I've seen your channel before as well, guys. Go ahead and check him out. He is one of our guys that are deep into cybersecurity and doing that professionally. And I believe he says he's worked maybe a government institution or something like that. And let me get through this real quick here. So yeah, we are doing a proof of concept POC on AWS Connect, trying to harden for high trust work. And I think high trust is a certification or compliance mandate or something like that. Professor Black Ops, please clarify for me if anything. But okay, so now we're getting into Amazon Connect. Now, part of this, he did go over on his video. Please go ahead and check out Freedman's Journals channel. Um, so that you can check out the video that he did where he went into this. I think the only issue we had was like some instance caching or something like that. We were talking about it before the stream, and you he wasn't able to set up the console center in the video, but maybe we can do it in this one, which will be kind of nice. So actually, let me give him the floor. He to speak. There we go. Perfect.
Mm.
Let's see where I can put you, man. I'll put you somewhere on the screen. So there we go. I think that's good.
So I'm gonna go ahead and associate this Lexbot here. so that I can use it within my call flows.
And sorry, what is a Lex bot? Did you explain that? What Lex? What is?
Oh, a Lexbot is just voice recognition. That's it.
Okay.
So it
Oh,
allows
Lex
you
for
to have the
lexical.
customer say, whatever you want. Basically, there are here.
Voice prompts and taking it, voice entry prompts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So how can I help you? Right. This is you know just a bot, and then what you have are where is it intents. So your intent is like what you're saying, right? This is called the intent is called callback, and then within
Hmm.
the intent they have what are called utterances, which these are phonetic within the Lexbot. So someone says call back, right, or call and then back, or return call or call. You will the Lexbot will say, "Oh, they did call back," right? And I'll show you how that comes in a sec.
And
Um,
guys, that's actually a very important skill to, or something like this. Knowing this, or if you are an Alexa engineer of any sort, because I did a little bit of Alexa work for a couple months for a large auto manufacturer, and they had the whole utterance and how you. I mean, I've lost that information since then because I never did it much. But you can pipe all that utterance information into something like, um, what's it called? Pipe that into a Node.js script, right? It'll run through a Lambda. You could run business logic against it. Then, if they start asking questions, you can actually have a full voice operation where it connects to a cat API or some other API. And you say, hey, listen, can I get info? It's like saying, Alexa, give me information about cats. And then you can connect to a cat API and it kicks back information and letting you know about it. It's really cool. Really cool. I was doing that last year. High trust is for HIPAA, for security, for hospitals, which is high level of security. You need it to take payments from government or federal for federal work. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you for the clarification on that for sure. And explain anything you're going through us while you're doing this.
okay, so excuse me. A manual piece to this is setting up the Lexbot. So you have the Lexbot here. You pick the name and you pick the alias. The alias is kind of how you reference the Lexbot. But let me show you. So these intents here, you just have to know what they are, right? It's not going to do it for you, it's everything's case sensitive, right?
Mm.
Um, so down here, I wrote in all those intents. So you just write them in manually, and then here I'm going to set manually.
So another great thing about what he's doing and what I talked about even with the Alexa stuff, if you can kind of you can actually show your value by doing this work and bring these things to the table for maybe your sales department or any other department. So you're going past just break fix IT work. Now you're getting into, okay, hey, this person is not costing me money to keep them on staff, but they're allowing me to make more money. Therefore, I can up their pay or what have you. So these are very important skills that you could be learning to increase your value to an organization. And what he's
Okay,
going through,
so
like, I see this as building an IVR almost, where you're connecting all
mhm.
these different things, these different routes.
Yeah, real simple IVR. Um, and then
And an IVR is, I think, an inbound voice recognition or receptionist or something like that,
yeah,
or
like
inbound
interactive
virtual
voice
recep.
response.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is callback, right? So let's just say something simple. Um, set manually text to speech. And so this is this variable here. Uh, Customer endpoint address is basically your Annie. It's the number you're calling from.
Hmm. And when you're
So
saying Annie, those are like call specific terms.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, call specific.
I don't remember what they are, but they exist. But that's like some yeah. That's like a your NAAI or NIAA or something like that,
Hmm.
and your call patterns and stuff like that. So you can do emergency voice. Do you have to worry about emergency voice when it comes to like E911 and stuff like that with this product?
E9. um, there is a way to do that, but I haven't done that because this is all from home. These people are from home, so they don't have to like call 911. If you're in a facility and you have something like this, you have a product which you have to set for per agent that says, "Hey, this if you're calling from this phone, this is where it's located," and that specific information has to be sent with the call to
Hmm.
911. Like
Hmm.
Cisco has an entire product built just for that.
Yeah, and that U911 piece is a very important thing when you're talking about telephony because of that. So, for instance, making prank calls to the police or something like that, and then it gets how it gets routed. Also, even making calls where there is an actual emergency, you want to make sure that it's routed to the right place because that really could essentially save your life. Because if you're out of, say, South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area, and you live in Georgia now, like myself, um, you know, calling an ambulance from freaking Fort Lauderdale, and it reaches their call center is, yeah, you're playing with your life, son.
Right, good point because that happens in day to day life, right? Um, my phone number's from California, right? They're not going to go to California if I call 911, right? That location
Yep.
data is coming through um, is coming through the telephony system by where it's picked up by the your wireless carrier, and so they know your basic
Hmm.
geographic location.
And
Let's
that's a
see.
big thing with telephony. That's a compliance thing, really.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Let's move this here.
Yeah, take you out of there completely. Um, take this out of there. Actually, it's there. Guys, we'll
Uh,
go over an overview while he's building. After he's done building this, ask him for that, and then essentially, what he's doing is setting up the call routing, kind of like for your from first point of entry to exit. Where does it go? Who answers what? How long do they answer it for? Or how long? Sorry, how long do they have so that they can answer it? Things like that.
yeah. So this is super simple, right? So you set your voice, right? They have all types of different voices. They have Canadian accents, right? They have English speaking UK accents, right? They have all types. Joanna's just a normal US woman's voice. And so I'm just going to play a prompt. Hello, thank you for calling into Young Grizzly's demo instance. Here I'm going to say, how can I help you? And you can say things like book an appointment, front desk, or call me back. And then based on what you say here, right, it's going to determine the routing. Like I had before, call back. If the intent, oops, if the intent here is call back, return call, or call, right, it's going to come down this track here. And then we're going to play another prompt that says we can call you back at the number you're calling us from. All right.
Hmm.
And then what does it say? Just end of demo. And then it terminates the call. So this fallback intent is the intent that is understood if it's none of these. right? If you
Hmm.
call in, if you say sassafras, it's going to be the fallback intent. So, I mean, and you can do this with loops, but I just created the exact same node over again. So if you say the wrong thing or you say default or error, and usually you have a little node that'll say, we didn't hear you, or we didn't get that. Please try again. And then you come to the actually let me do that. Uh,
I'm telling you guys right now, this is like, I'm not saying it's blowing my mind, but I am thinking the amount of countless hours, days to get an IVR right. If you know, you motherfucking know. Like, if you know, you know. Because, man, just to build the Linux systems, or if you're doing like a Trixbox, Asterisk, or something like that, and then you got to troubleshoot it, get the cards, get the fax lines right, and stuff like that, dealing with the analog portion of it. But listen, this is not that long ago for me. This is 2010, maybe even a little bit earlier, 2008 or something, maybe. I don't remember exactly. Oof. But no, 2008. This is probably about 2010. No, this is probably about 2008, 2009, and I'm dealing with this stuff, getting into voice and everything. Not really touching coding. I'm against coding at that point. But to set up what he just set up in a couple minutes, whether it works or not, because trust and believe, there might be kinks or something like that. I want you guys to see my face. See my face. Wait, okay, is that the one? Yeah, see my face when you're doing it. All right, cool. I don't have all my scenes right. But listen, this is not a small thing what he's doing. Like, this took a lot of time. This took hours. This took a lot of testing, so on and so forth, where you couldn't even do this. We did this on a stream within a couple of minutes, mostly of me talking, asking one or two questions, blah, blah, blah. And then for him to do this within minutes right in front of y'all, I mean, not copy and pasted. Yeah, he knew what he was doing, but this used to take a while to get done and get done right. Get done right. All right, cool. Go ahead. I just want people to know.
okay, so we're going to get the input. If you give any of the right intents, it's going to give you another message and then say end of demo. If you give any of the wrong intents, it's going to bring you here and it's going to say, hey, I'm sorry, I did not catch that. You can say things like appointment front desk or call me back. Um, and then if it fails again, I just have it going to disconnect. Um, which actually some
Wait, wait.
businesses do, which is weird, but a lot.
Uh,
You most of the time right here, if they do it again, you'll go through a loop basically, and you'll
yeah.
come back to this node, and they'll say, "Sorry, we didn't get that," and then you'll come back maybe two or three times, and then you'll disconnect, or they'll send you to a default queue after you go through the loop,
Mm.
right? And you'll have what are those? Set enter. Where is? And this is cool, right? Up here, you can scroll through the different nodes. You can start typing disconnect, bam, there's disconnect. You can
Hmm.
start typing loop, boom, there are your loops. You could start typing prompt, right, and there's your prompt. So this is super convenient right there. Um,
Another
so
thing I
yeah,
want
that's
to
it.
point out is back in the day, for you to say, "Hey, listen, this is Grizzly," so you would have to have you do it as the default voice, right? Starting out, then it gets
Mm-hmm.
recorded by some lady in the office. Then after that, you might even, or even if it doesn't get recorded by some lady in the office, who didn't want to do it or doesn't like doing that type of stuff. Then it was done by you called you you called on like somebody from Fiverr.com or something like that, and then they would read out voice prompts. That's what they did as a for their for a living and stuff like that. And you pay them 5, 10 bucks. You give them a whole script. You have to QA it, make sure you went through all this other stuff. Bro, he did this in minutes just to say, hey, this is Young Grizzly. And even if he messed up, he can go back and easily change it. He doesn't have to pay that person again to say the script over. And honestly, you're just seeing the efficiency or the what's it called, the level of efficiency that we are at right now. Go ahead.
Yep. So we'll come here and then we need a phone number. So claim a number, DID, which is just a regular
Direct inward
number. Actually,
dialing.
we can do
Mm-hmm.
toll free. So pick a number. Pick your flow, demo inbound, save. All right, let's see here.
Hello. Thank you for calling into Young Grizzly's demo instance. You can say things like book an appointment, front desk, or call me back.
Front desk. Front desk.
Transferring to reception. End of demo.
Boom. Hey, try it. Go ahead, call it.
Just that fucking simple. What's the did you put can you put the number? Oh, there it is right there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to that. That's pretty cool. And you guys I guess you guys could try it too. Um yeah, that's crazy. 1833. I wonder how many calls it can take at once.
Mhm.
I mean,
Not
that's
that
virtual.
not that many. This is well, not that many is relative. If you're running a big call center, you don't want to use the AWS numbers.
Can you hear that?
I can hear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Call me back. Was that a number or how much I owe him? But it's like, but that's really cool, man. To have that, like, I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna like cut this or something and send this to my homeboy, man. Like, this is sick because I know how long that used to take. Like, especially becoming a pro at this and setting up a proper IVR and then setting this up around like around the world, Philippines, any other place, DR, Puerto Rico, India, even. Like this is still a big product or a big industry is telephony because of even though everything is mostly digital and everything else like that, but being able to call from a cell phone or something like that is yeah that's crazy. That is crazy right there what you just did. And you had to do a little bit of Terraform for that.
No, you can. The Terraform I had bombed out because of the Lexbot. I hadn't tested that Lexbot yet, so I didn't know if it was actually going to work. But
No, right?
so
Okay,
that one thing will mess up everything. So
that's
I did
true. I
not use
forgot
it, but
that it failed.
it's pretty simple. I think I can do. Can I
That's
do?
crazy.
Let me do this one. Terraform plan. Let me see if this one is still good. Because I've been going through this series, so I have a bunch of these that I've been playing with. This one is actually pretty big, so this adds a whole a VPC with a bunch of subnets and everything else, and I could kind of show you what that looks like. I can't remember where I left off um, on this particular code, and see, and again, this is why you 66 to add, 5 to destroy. Oh, what's it going to destroy? It's probably going to destroy those instances.
I was texting Ed and letting him know about this stream, dude. Like, this is fucking crazy. This dude set up a whole IVR and everything.
Oh, darn it. Shoot. No, it's probably going to destroy what I already built. I'm not going to run that now. I mean, we can get to that on another
Hmm.
stream. I'll clean up
Yeah, and that's
my
Terraform.
environment.
So like so what you could do with infrastructure as code, you don't have to run it per se, but you can run like, hey, this is what it's going to do if it does this. So you can do a plan. I think it's like Terraform plan, and then it
Right. Yeah.
actually
Terraform
plans
plan.
out and lets you know. Right, and then what do you do to actually execute it to deploy it?
You hit apply. you do
Terraform.
Terraform apply, and
Hmm.
it'll go through, and unless you put auto approve, it'll ask you, do you really want to do this? Basically, because you
Hmm.
are gonna potentially mess yourself up. But that is why it's important to use GitLab, all right, and
Hmm.
GitHub to version everything, so that
Yeah.
you can say, hey, I can go back to this or that or the other. And then again,
Yeah, and that's where you start to
that's
get
why you want to
into
go through
commit
the
auth.
associate. Hmm. That's why you want to go through your associates and learn all that good stuff. And so it's going to give me a prompt here that says, "Do you really want to do it?" And I'm going to say no.
Yeah, and this is where you get into things like you know, having that experience, understanding version control, understanding the products that allow you to do it, the protocols or software such as Git that allow you to do it locally, and then of course the repos or repositories, online repositories like GitLab and GitHub, and what are the differences between all of them. How organizations you can use that and run different pipelines, CI/CD pipelines for every um, uh, merge request that you do or something like that when you want to merge your branch, having different approvers, kind of oversight a little bit. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. And it gets really involved, but that's where you have a larger organization. Then you also have different teams, so DevSecOps and other things.
Yep. Um,
Grab second gear, Eddie. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
okay. And so I was going to say, where is? Wait, hold on. So my back end is okay. Terraform Lab, Udemy. Oh, that's in.
Mm.
Okay, that's in IO. Here it is. So, like the back end is connected to, yeah, the back end is connected to Udemy. So, not Udemy, sorry. This is the lab I'm running, but it's connected to the Terraform
GitLab.
Cloud. So, my plan actually runs in here, and this will show you the whole plan. And this
Hmm.
stuff, this is the kind of stuff these are going to be your knowledge gaps if you go directly to a dev, right? And you try to get hired as a dev, and be like, well, do you know this? If you don't know GitLab and GitHub and how to run this type of stuff, it's going to be
Hmm.
um, a super steep learning curve, or you're going to get to a technical interview and they're going to start asking you questions about this, and it's going to be like, not this guy.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been
So,
in that situation. I've been where they like me personally, or terms of my personality and behavior, attitude, blah blah blah. But they say, "Hey, listen, we've seen that you've worked in this, but we don't feel that you've had the experience." And it's just like, even though maybe not, I've had a lot of experience in IT in general, but maybe not the level of experience that they want, like understanding like async await syntax and why this works and why that doesn't work, and then
hmm
tripping up on this or that. So there's stuff like that happens.
hmm
That.
so what I couldn't see, pardon me, what I couldn't see before, just because of the terminal, I got to fix the terminal length in here, but it wasn't long enough
Mm.
here for
Mm.
me to see what they were going to destroy. But so for the audience, if I were to run that Terraform, what I just built would be destroyed, right? That young grizzly instance I just built, and the
Mm.
other instance you saw would be destroyed. And then
And that's because it's not in the actual plan itself, right? It's just in the account.
correct. Now I could import it into this plan, You know, there's ways you can import it. You just bring it in, add the configuration to it, so it'll put that in. But I don't want to do that. So, but it's showing you what it's going to destroy, because this gives you the entire list here. And and the Lambda function I had in there would also be destroyed, and then all the slots would be destroyed. Oh, actually,
So
this
a
slot
good thing
here,
about
Lambda. Yeah.
So even if you're doing a migration, an update, upgrade, what have you, or you're DevSecOps person, and you want to understand the impact of what all of this is, or if you're dev and you want to understand the changes that were made, like going through and doing this stuff line by line, or using the proper tools to do a diff check or a diff between what
Mm-hmm.
it is currently and what you want it to be. So, AKA what it will be versus what it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's like doing those checks to see where it's green, it's red, and you're doing all those different things. You have all those different tools that do a text highlighting and things like that. That's very important when it comes to troubleshooting and finding issues, because a part of your finding issues is, hey, what has changed recently? Why was it
Mm-hmm.
changed? Even though something is broken, doesn't necessarily mean that you should even fix it, to be very honest. Like, it could be okay that to keep it in a broken state because the thing that caused it to break is more important than the thing that is broken. So you'll run
Mm-hmm.
into issues like that when things are just not as cut and dry.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where is. Oh no, plan. Uh,
I'm gonna bring a fridge in here. I ain't got no water. I'm gonna bring my fridge in here. This is good. This is good. Good experience.
oh, here it is. Refresh only. So,
And by the way, we're coming up to about 4 o'clock. I know I
oh
only
yeah.
had you from about 2 to 4. Um, Also, I'm like half falling asleep a little bit, not really, but yeah, I'm gonna lay down after this. But I want to be respectful of your time as well. You know,
Oh, no problem.
I'm like,
So
yeah,
what I'm doing now is we talked about bringing things into the environment. So I didn't add this, right? I added it here. Objects haven't changed outside of Terraform. Role, Lambda, resource. Okay. Okay. So basically, it kind of brought it in, right? Because I made the instance this. Since I created it manually and it's already in the plan, there's no change to it. All right.
hmm
So let's go delete that instance and run that same command. Um,
two
so
Triv 211. Appreciate you, bro, for even showing up. But you can always catch the playback as well, man. Be safe. Have a good day at work, man. This stream going too damn bad. Guys, if you notice there's like delay dropping in hard. Okay. If you notice there's like a delay or anything wrong with the stream, or even a delay of like, okay, you wrote something, I said it. That's like settings on my end, and I set things to have a delay just for better quality. I think it turns out to be better quality. Um, in terms of like video quality, because that's a big thing. With my last setup, my quality was nowhere near as good as this. So I'm really happy about this. And I got 18 watching. No, that's pretty freaking cool, man. I appreciate. Oh no, wait, time as it is. Is that 18 watching? Yeah, because I got 18 watching, man. I appreciate you all, man. This is really cool. Thank you guys.
yeah, Luke, drop a
Elon, thank you
like
for even
while you're
joining.
here.
Yeah, not like, man. The likes is right, man. People came in, dropped the like, and left. All right, just put the money in the offering plate and just skedaddle. I can fuck with that. I'll be your pastor.
So let's
But I
see.
appreciate you guys.
Okay, so we just deleted the instance I just built. So let's run this again and see what's going on. So yeah, pardon me. It takes a little while when your back end is remote. If you had a local back end, it'd be a lot quicker.
What do you mean local backend? Like your Terraform Cloud is remote, you mean? Or you're using
Hmm.
Terraform Cloud services?
Yeah, yeah. I'm running. It's running back here.
Hmm. That's another thing. Like, with a lot of these services, they're building in, hosted services on their platform, offers, the latest and greatest in software, kind of like with Microsoft and the Office platform, Office software, I should say. How everything is mostly cloud, perpetual license, $10, $12 a month, and they slowly boil your ass like a fucking frog, in terms of costs and things like that. So that's definitely one thing that let me stand up for a bit. That's one thing that is ooh, that is something to watch out for, or that's a good and bad of it. Like a lot of this stuff is not local. If you wanted to do AWS work, or work with your cloud platform or your whole deployment, outside of the AWS platform itself for testing reasons, it actually becomes very difficult to do that, because everything is in the cloud, RDS and access to those instances. You have to do so much to try and run a Lambda locally to the point where there's no point. So, and a Lambda, anyways, it's just a Node.js app or a script that's running. So you might not really need that, but the services that it connects to, you do need. So keep that in mind when you're doing all of this stuff. That they do have services provided by the third party or the vendor that they're trying to sell you.
Cool, cool. All right. So yeah, I deleted the instance and then reran the plan.
And as you see, like, a lot of this stuff is what they consider or call ephemeral, meaning that you don't have to, like, you can throw it away. It's very disposable.
Oh
It really
man.
means nothing.
See, that's the thing with this. It still sees the young grizzly. It's not going to add the young grizzly instance, right? It still sees it in there. So the thing we were talking about earlier with caching is still in there. Like it sees this, so it's not going to add it, even though I deleted it.
So even little things like this, what you're going through, man, like this is the type of stuff when it comes to experience. And yes, software as a service, and you have capital A's. Calm down with your capital A's. They're lowercase. Come on, Mr. Heat, you have more. Come on now. Sass it right, all right. So don't be sassy with me. But yeah, software as a service can be very expensive over time, and really can cost you because there is continued licensing costs that will never go away. They never stay the same. They always increase, whether it's increasing the quantity. The only way to decrease it is to get rid of users or try to consolidate, and that doesn't work as well as you think it would. So really is something that costs a lot of money over time. Definitely costs
Yep,
a lot of money over time.
yep, yep. But cool, man. Any final thoughts?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure. It's just like, but that was cool. First off, I do want to say, or well, first final thought is, hey, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for doing this, really, too. Where is whiteboard? No, that's workbench. Whiteboard. All right. Okay. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for listening in on us here. And this type of stuff with IT and getting into it like this and doing little labs and stuff, or this is what you need to do on your own to actually do more, get more money, increase your skills. Like a mechanic, you're going to have to learn the newest engine configurations, learning things about timing and specialties, not just the high performance tuning and turbo stuff, but learning more about the ins and outs and the issues that you run into. Like, oh, okay, well, I have my Terraform plan. I didn't define this. Now I have to import it and all this other stuff. This is where you really kind of cut your teeth and start to get better with your craft, so to speak. And this is what you're going to have to do, really. Like, really, this is what it kind of boils down to. Let's see. Add left, add right. Wait. No. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna solo it and then add right. Boom! Ha ha ha! I know what I'm doing. But this is the stuff that's like important, getting used to this type of stuff and really getting into it. Let me back up here. Full body shot. Okay. I'm like playing around with this stuff. That's kind of cool. But I really appreciate you showing me this type of stuff and showing the group and everything like that, and guys getting into this type of stuff because this is very lucrative. I mean, it can make people a lot of money. But your thoughts?
Um, yes, it can make a lot of money, and hurry up and do it. I mean, seriously, hurry up and do it because the market is wide open now, and it won't always be wide open. So, learn a cloud platform and get busy. And I'd major and minor in one. I'm still going to learn some Azure because as I look out there, there are opportunities for Azure. So and some environments will use both. Or your company will acquire another company, or you'll get acquired by another company. And guess what? So you're working on GCP, and now you got to work on AWS too. So, especially if you're already in the
some
field.
companies,
If you're already in the field, what are you waiting for?
in some companies like projects that I've been on, man, where they require you to be vendor agnostic, require you to actually have the same cloud resources in two different places, and like deal with the difference in the networking, difference in how routing works, how DNS works in those two different platforms. And they don't care that you don't know it. Like, if you want this contract, we expect you to hire X, Y, and Z person to figure this out,
Yep.
and come up with a Terraform plan or whatever, and then also document that motherfucker and have it in
Yep.
a design document.
Yeah, that what you said there is key. I have especially noticed that, right? They're looking for very, very specific skills, and if you don't know it, you don't know it. So
Yep.
there are, I mean, God, it's like there aren't a lot of mid-tier jobs. You're gonna get your mid-tier
No.
experience, getting your foot in the door, and then
Yeah.
learning it while you're there. It's like, hey, you kind of know it. Let us hire you. It's like, nah, we want an expert or entry
Yep.
level. So,
Everything is senior. I saw this one thing where this guy put up, "Hey, listen, we want a person with Flutter experience, which is an app development framework code language or language Flutter, right? So, and they said we want somebody with 8 years of Flutter experience. The person pointed out Flutter's only been out for 3 years. Flutter had only been out for 3 years, and they want somebody with 8 years of experience. And it's
yeah,
just
man,
like,
they're
what?
getting.
And the thing is, the HR people don't know this for whatever reason, and it's not always like, and somebody, they write it wrong, and it's just like, if you don't know that, you'll look at that job and be like, wow, I can never get that job. I've only known Flutter for 3 years, not knowing you're a fucking expert because Flutter's only been out for 3 fucking years.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah,
It's almost like,
yeah,
because some jobs are just trying to say, hey, we couldn't find anybody, so now we can bring somebody else in.
hmm
Let's
yeah.
run up the HB1 visas.
Yeah, and then the mid tier, and they're also looking for people that don't need sponsorship in any way, shape, form, or fashion too. But the mid-tier people are their former entry level people, right? So
Hmm.
you only have entry level, which isn't too many, or senior. Now you're having more where you like, listen, we want a senior, period. Nothing else. Like, they want you to be a senior person, man, immediately,
Hmm.
day one. And it's like, bitch, I just got out of college. What do you mean senior? You mean a senior in high
That's
school? How was that?
that's the pressure, and that's what makes college like not worth it. Like,
Yep.
what you're gonna spend 4 years, and at the end of 4 years, you are unskilled labor. Well, you have a skill, but you're untested labor. Like, really, if
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't,
crazy. I mean, just the first way you put it. The second way was a cleanup, but the first way you put it is pretty much what it is. You are unskilled. You do not have. You're like, oh, you're still wet behind the ears, son. I
oh yeah,
can't give you my server. Are you fucking crazy?
yeah, that they're gonna want to see your portfolio, right? That whole thing
Yeah.
with I got to clean up my
Your
clean up
GitHub.
that Lex spot that failed. So when I'm in an
Uh-huh.
interview, when I'm in a technical interview, I tell the team, hey, here's my Connect instance. Click, right?
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds later,
Yeah.
there's my instance. I've uploaded my contact
Mm-hmm.
flow, which is another piece. Maybe we should
Right.
do that next. Uploaded the
Yeah.
Lambda, uploaded the contact flow,
Mm-hmm.
associated Lex spot to the flow. I've done all these
Mm-hmm.
steps. So boom, I don't touch the console at all. And then I can tell the interviewer, hey, call this number, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
they're like,
And
oh,
honestly,
oh, okay.
so what's also great about what you just said is you put this on GitHub, you put it on your resume, and you're saying, hey, listen, you want somebody that knows AWS Connect? Here's my GitHub repo with my infrastructure as code. These are the things and the steps that you need in the README to actually set all that up. And here it is, boom, you're good to go. And then, of course, you can always be a person where you find that type of stuff and you're saying, okay, you do this in an interview. Like you say, hey, listen, well, I only know of it this way. Can I show it to you? Right? And they'd be like, yeah. Yeah, we'll let you show it to us. Like, what are you going to show us? And they were like, then they start looking at you like, oh, this motherfucker want a job. Okay. Like, but that'll get you the job. That'll get you to work because it's like, oh yeah, listen. I hope that really helped you guys show you my knowledge and my proficiency in the platform. The proficiency in the platform with the purpose of the paycheck. Like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you sound like Don Kane for a second, where you're just going over and you're really selling yourself. You're really marketing
Oh yeah.
yourself to these people. I mean, that's another thing where it's like me looking for a job now is another problem because it's like if I'm looking for a job and I want to show my experience, all my GitHub is like years old, hasn't been touched, hasn't it's basic stuff, projects that have never been completed, so on and so forth. So and everybody has those GitHub graveyards, so to speak. But
Yeah.
that's like if you can show, yeah, that's actually a really good point. If you can show this stuff and demo it out, like, oh, okay, I can do it. I can do it via code, or I can do it via console. Which one do you want me to do? Because then they're like, okay, we can this guy can hit the ground running, and
Mm-hmm.
and just bounce right into the position, no problem. But that's a good point. And yeah, we could probably do a stream either next week or week after next. You let me know. What
Oh
would be
yeah.
good for you? I don't know if Saturdays are usually good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. A couple weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks. I
A
gotta.
couple weeks. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm gonna take a nap after this, and then I gotta go to training after that, and then I got work I gotta do, man. Because I gotta do work tonight. It's like work that I have to complete tonight, man. But that's the nature of the beast, man. IT, you're gonna work overtime, and it's not considered overtime because bitch your salary. Right? Ain't no
Yeah. It's,
overtime.
uh,
You know.
it's a blessing and a
You
curse.
know.
So yeah,
Yup.
especially when you're doing agile and you're more
Yup.
project based, and who knows, maybe your Saturday or one of your weekdays got burned on your kids or something like that, or your car broke down,
Yup.
whatever. It's like, okay, cool, I can log in at Friday night when everybody's asleep and just kill 2 3
Mhm.
days worth of work in a few hours because it's quiet. You know.
Yeah, and that's weekends become not only rest, but also a way to like catch up and be ahead of work because you're not getting calls, you're not being pressured, you're not just, getting a call out of nowhere or a chat out of nowhere or an
Hmm.
email that you have to, everybody's sleeping. So you're just kind of like working on the radar. And so, and
Yep.
honestly, man, weekends are the savior. I mean, I take like one day off and then Sunday or Saturday get to it or just not. I've done that plenty of times, but yeah. All right. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining. This is my first time doing the interview through Ecamm, and I'm liking it. I think it worked out fairly well. And Freeman's Journal, man, go ahead and check out his channel. Anybody else, please let us know. Theo Waff, check out his channel. Keep It Techie, check out his channel. So Keep It Techie, Theo Waff, Lion of MGTOW, of course, check out his channel, man. Give them nothing. Um, and so, guys, support the other brothers in the space that are giving this information for free, are trying to lead you to the promised land, so to speak, so that you can actually be in a better position as everything burns around you. That's pretty much what's happening. So, carve out your own little fortress of sorts. All right. With that being said, thank you so much. Peace.
Salute.
April.